What's up, Droners? B here from Dronr Tech, brought to you by RemotePilot101.com. And today, we're gonna do some Dronr Dialogue about, well, when I got to meet Alicia Keys. So let's get into it. As you guys know, I get to play as a professional drone cinematographer quite often, and the other day I got to do another really fun job. I got hired by the homies at Glide Aerials to come on and be their gimbal operator for an Inspire 2 with an X7 on The Late Late Show. And The Late Late Show is doing their best to keep rolling during the pandemic, and one of the things that they did is they actually had a whole Alicia Keys week that I think at this moment is actually still happening, or it ended last week. Either way, they filmed a bunch of those things in the parking lot, in the CBS lot, and I got brought in to do that. They brought me in. I got to work with the homie Trevor, who's one of the owners of Glide Aerial, and so I arrived to set, and it's time to get things going. And the fun thing is they don't tell you who the talent's gonna be before you get there. So I didn't actually know who was going to be the person putting on this concert. It just had an AK on the call sheet, which I was like, AK, who could that be? And one of my friends even said, that might be Alicia Keys. I was like, no. Either way, she was super nice, and she made me feel really good, and I was really happy about it, and it made my day. But to talk about the drone stuff, the director came over, and the way that this normally works, because I've done a Late Late Show before, is that we get our stuff set up, and then the director comes over and he has a conversation with us. And that conversation normally goes like this. Oh, hey, you guys are the drone guys? Oh, yes, we are the drone. Oh, yeah, we worked together before. Yeah, oh, it was good to see you. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, you see the stage over here. What I want to do is some slow pushes, like right over the audience. Can we do that? Oh, we got waivers for all the people. That cool. No, we're gonna pick a path. Okay, a path. We're not gonna fly. Okay, so we're gonna fly right over like these people and just take a slow push in, and then I want to do like a big pull out. You pretty much just have a creative conversation with him where he tells you all his hopes and dreams. You tell him what's possible, and then you get to a conclusion of saying, okay, for the 3 songs that we're gonna be shooting today, here's the plan for each. You want these different variety of different shots. And so we also had a dress rehearsal where you go through and you shoot all those things, and everything was going fine. Everything was great. We did all the dress rehearsal. We had a variety of about 2 to 3 different types of shots per concert performance that we were prepared to do when we were given the signal to do that. Now, I learned 2 things this day. One of them I knew already really well, and the other one I didn't know that well. It had never had happened to me before. The first one that I knew really well is that when you have those conversations with the director that gives you all these creative visions and all these things, a lot of the times, they don't happen, because this is a live show. So on a live show, a lot of times they'll say, we want the moon, the stars, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, nah, you get orbit. Like, that's all you get. Like, you get to orbit, you just break gravity, and you come right back down to Earth. Like, that's truly what happens. And so what happened on this show is he had all these shots lined up for us, but because things weren't going the way he planned with all his other camera operators, he completely forgot about the drone and did not cue us for anything. And even though we would ask for it on the radio, like, did you want us to do this? He's like, nah, just stay on the wide, stay on the wide. And so we ended up just being the big wide shot the whole time, just doing back and forth parallax shots. We did a couple of the shots. I say out of the 6 shots or 7 shots that he wanted us to do, I think we did 1. And so for me, it was actually really boring as a drone pilot, because I want to do the fun stuff. I want to do the creative things, and it was very creatively unfulfilling, but I got to meet Alicia Keys, so I didn't care. The second thing that I learned is that the very first time that we went up to fly for the very last dress rehearsal, I told you, operating the gimbal, and for some reason, I could not get this gimbal to be smooth. No matter how gently I started and stopped every single move, it was just shaking and doing all this kind of stuff. And so as a drone pilot, a lot of the times you're gonna think, as soon as one of those problems happens, you're thinking like, okay, maybe I need to land the drone and calibrate the gimbal or any of these other kind of things. But I actually ended up finding out that it was the EXP. And if you don't know what the EXP is, it actually is how fast the drone motor or the gimbal motor starts and stops all the movements that you're doing. And my EXP was like, I believe it was maxed out. It was either zeroed out or maxed out. Either one that it was never the setting that I would ever put it on. And so it made it so that I couldn't have any kind of smoothness to any of my shots. But what's really weird about it, which happens a lot of times, weird things happen with the software, DJI sometimes, is that no one touched that setting. Like, the setting was working fine during all the other rehearsals. Like, obviously you power down to put on the new batteries or whatever. Sometimes you do a hot swap, but this wasn't a time we were in a rush, so we powered down and, take the batteries off, and then we put them back on, and we get back in the air, and then lo and behold, for some reason the gimbal and the EXP settings were changed. So I figured it out pretty quickly, actually while we were in the air, and I fixed it, and so we were good to go. But when I tell you about a high pressure situation, the director was like watching the drone shot and seeing that it wasn't smooth, and it felt like he almost lost faith in our ability to do the job, which can cost you the job for the future, especially when you have a client like the Late Late Show that's a reoccurring gig. So I'm really happy I was able to fix it quickly. My client, as in Glide Aerials, is really happy with what I did. The director ended up being really happy as happy as you could be with our wide shot for the most part for the night, and everything went well. The lesson of the day here is that you need to know how to troubleshoot your drone. And the reason you need to know is because you never know what's gonna go wrong. And the way that you know how to troubleshoot, like, oh, how do I know how to troubleshoot it? You understand all the systems. When you're not on a drone job, you go into all the menus, you learn what the menus do, you learn what access you have to the bird to control what settings on what parts of it. There's a lot of settings for this drone. There's a lot of menu settings, and you gotta spend the time to figure out what each one is. Go through YouTube, read the manual, watch the DJI videos, like, you know, ask me questions in the comments. Honestly, just go through your settings and learn what your bird can do so that you can fix anything when any one of those systems isn't working appropriately. Droners, thank you guys so much for watching this Dronr Dialogue brought to you by RemotePilot101.com. If you want to see more, obviously we got them. Check out, subscribe, check out the link below, and do all the things that you're supposed to do to show that you support what we're doing. And most importantly, make sure, as always, you stay fly.